The cobblestone streets of Rome whispered with the rustle of black silk and the somber echoes of high fashion mourning this week as the world bid a final arrivederci to the legendary Valentino Garavani. At 93, the last emperor of couture was laid to rest in a ceremony that served as the ultimate litmus test for global status. But as the fashion elite, the true A-list, gathered at the Basilica Santa Maria degli Angeli dei Martiri, one name was conspicuously, and allegedly forcefully, absent from the guest list: Meghan Markle. Reports have ignited a firestorm of controversy, suggesting the Duchess of Sussex was left fuming after her desperate bid to secure a seat at the fashion funeral of the century was met with a cold, definitive no. In the brutal hierarchy of the sartorial world, it seems being a duchess doesn't guarantee a front-row seat to history when the establishment decides you're simply not invited. The A-list barrier, when royalty isn't enough. For Meghan Markle, a woman whose brand is built on the careful curation of image and high society proximity, the denial of her request to attend Valentino's funeral is more than a social slight, it is a public devaluing of her global standing. While stars like Anne Hathaway, Elizabeth Hurley, and Tom Ford arrived to pay their respects, they did so as personal friends and long-term muses of the late maestro. Hathaway, who famously wore Valentino for her wedding and starred alongside the designer in The Devil Wears Prada, represents the organic, deep-rooted connection the House of Valentino protects. Critics argue that Meghan's attempt to angle for an invitation was a transparent move to capitalize on a somber moment for personal PR gain. Since stepping back from royal duties, the Duchess has frequently been accused of clutching at the hems of the fashion world to maintain relevance. By reportedly reaching out to Valentino's inner circle, she exposed a fundamental misunderstanding of the industry's old guard etiquette. In the eyes of the fashion titans, you don't ask for an invite to a legend's funeral, you are summoned by virtue of your legacy. A pattern of controversy, the Duchess who invited herself? This isn't the first time Meghan's social maneuvering has raised eyebrows in the fashion capitals of the world. Rumors still swirl regarding her appearance at Paris Fashion Week in late 2025, where insiders suggested she invited herself to high-profile shows rather than receiving the traditional golden ticket. This persistent narrative portrays Meghan as the perennial outsider, constantly knocking on doors that remain firmly bolted. Her critics are quick to point out the contrast between her controversial presence and the effortless inclusion of figures like Anna Wintour and Donatella Versace. To the fashion establishment, Valentino's funeral was a sanctuary for those who built the industry, not a networking event for a list celebrity looking to pivot into a new lifestyle brand. The denial of her request serves as a stinging critique of her current trajectory. She is perceived not as a patron of the arts, but as a strategist seeking a backdrop. The anatomy of a fashion snub. The exclusion of the Duchess highlights a growing divide between Hollywood fame and fashion heritage. Below is a look at the in crowd. She failed to join in Rome. Attendee connection to Valentino's status. Anne Hathaway, longtime muse, wore custom Valentino for her wedding. Inner circle. Anna Wintour, the arbiter of fashion who championed his career for decades. The establishment. Donatella Versace, fellow titan of Italian couture, industry peer. Fashion royalty. Meghan Markle wore the brand for high-profile tours, Morocco 2019, Invictus 2022. Denied. Validating the fuming narrative. Why would Meghan be so unsettled by this rejection? Because the optics are disastrous. To be publicly snubbed from an event attended by Elizabeth Hurley and Anna Fendi sends a clear message. The transition from royal to global power player is stalling. For a woman who has worn Valentino red on the world stage, most notably her striking capelet dress in Morocco, the refusal to let her mourn the creator of those garments is a formal eviction from the house's legacy. Observers note that Meghan's controversy often stems from her perceived, deliberate nature. Every move, every appearance, and every quiet reach out feels calculated. In the grieving atmosphere of Rome, that calculation was viewed as distasteful. While the fashion world mourned a man who defined elegance for 93 years, the Duchess was reportedly preoccupied with the seating chart. The price of the spotlight. Ultimately, the Valentino funeral snub reinforces the controversial label that has followed Meghan Markle across the Atlantic. It underscores a harsh reality. In the most exclusive circles of Rome and Paris, titles can be stripped, but genuine industry respect must be earned. As the last emperor is laid to rest, the gates have closed, leaving the Duchess on the outside, looking in.